Good afternoon, this is a Shaman Oracle reading, and today I like to introduce the Rose Oracle. It is a new card deck created by Rebecca Campbell, and she has or gives a long history about ancient roots of the rose that I like to share here with you all. The ancient roots of the rose, it's the story of the rose, and it is a long one. The rose is an ancient flower with roots which are far deeper than those of humanity. They reach back more than 35 million years with the fossilized remains of rose leaves and rose petals having been found in Asia, Europe, and North America. While today there are countless types of roses, they all fit into three main categories or groups. The first one is the species rose, commonly referred to as a wild rose, and these are the oldest type, stemming from the rose gallica. Such species, they bloom once and have between 4 and 8 petals. The second group of the rose is the old garden rose. These roses existed before 1867, when the first hybrid tea rose was introduced. Examples of the old garden rose, they are Alba, Ayrshire, Bourbon, centifolia, and a rose named China. The third group is the modern hybrid rose. Devotion to the rose is found in many texts, tablets, artworks, and poetry throughout history. A symbol of human love, divine love, beauty, healing, the feminine, the hidden secrets, and mysticism. This flower has been revered worldwide by healers, herbalists, botanists, lovers, rosarians, artists, poets, mystics, and more. Records of using the rose as medicine and other uses in many ancient cultures, including Mesopotamia, exist. For instance, it is the word rose that comes 181 times mentioned on 600 Mesopotamian clay tablets. And there are records in China where the so-called China rose originated. There are remnants of rose wreaths found in Egyptian tombs, and there are coins depicting roses believed to date back from around 500 BCE, and they were discovered on the Greek island of Rhodes. The flower rose is connected to the goddess as such. The rose is the mystical queen of all flowers, from the goddess Ishtar to the goddess Aphrodite to Venus, Inanna to Mother Mary. And the further we trace back the existence of the rose, the more often we see this flower appearing as a symbol of goddesses in many of the world's traditions. And often such goddesses have a striking resemblance to one another. Some were worshipped in secret and others were absorbed, so merging by renaming them. The scent of the rose is one of the numerous sacred symbols in binding art and stories of the rose together. In ancient times, garlands of roses, they were placed around statues of mother goddesses worldwide to worship them. And in prayer beads used by Catholics today, they also stem from this rose tradition. In fact, the word rosary comes from the Latin rosarium, meaning rose garden or rose crown of roses or garland of roses. Just like the goddesses of old, the Mother Mary, Jesus' mother, is closely associated with the rose and is known by many different names linked to the flower, including the name Mystic Rose and the rose without thorns. Inanna, the ancient Mesopotamian goddess associated with love, beauty, sex, war, justice, and political power, had a rose as her symbol. The rose was also a symbol for the Egyptian goddess Isis, who is thought to have been an incarnation of Ishtar, a Sumerian goddess, and Sophia, a force being present at the beginning of creation. Sophia is a Greek word meaning wisdom, and Sophia is thought to have been a force present at the time of creation, and so turns the patriarchal understanding of a sole male god on its head. In the Bible's book of Proverbs, for instance, Sophia says, I was present at the beginning of creation, participating at the side of the Lord in the work of creation. And many scholars and art historians do believe that a female figure beside God in Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel ceiling is a representation of Sophia. And the philosopher Rudolf Steiner believed that the Egyptian mother goddess Isis was an incarnation of Sophia. So the rose plays an important role in myth and in legend, in the mythology and the literature of ancient Greece and Rome. The rose is symbol of love and beauty. And in Homer's The Iliad, it is described how rose oil was used to anoint the body of Hector, and who was then embalmed by Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. Aphrodite is often portrayed with wearing a crown of roses on her head, and she was honored with amounts of white roses. Legend says that Aphrodite is the rose itself. It sprang from Aphrodite's tears at the death of her lover Adonis, and when a drop of the goddess's blood fell upon the white rose, so turned the color to red. And Aphrodite's son Eros, the god of love and sexual desire, he was often depicted with a wreath of roses as well. The three graces in ancient Greek, the goddesses associated with beauty, charm, nature, creativity, and fertility. They are said to have scattered roses all over the earth to celebrate the union of Psyche, the goddess of the soul, with Eros, the god of love and sexual desire. The worship of Aphrodite was adopted by the Romans, but they gave her a new name. Now she becomes Venus, and she became associated with the garden. One of the most famous depictions of Venus is Italian artist Sandro Botticelli's 15th century painting, The Birth of Venus. It captures the ancient myth in which Venus is birthed from the foam of the sea, and where the foam fell, there grew white roses. In one Roman story, Flora, the goddess of spring and flowers, discovered the body of a beautiful nymph in the forest. Grief-stricken, she then prayed for it to be transformed into the most beautiful flower ever known. So the three Graces and Venus, they turned the nymph's body into a rose, and from that day on, the rose became known as the queen of all flowers. And in another myth, a Roman myth, the goddess Cybele or Magna Mater, Great Mother, is said to have created the rose because she was jealous of Venus and wanted something more beautiful to attract the god Adonis. There is also a link to the hidden Celtic goddess worship because the rose had deep roots with the goddesses of the pre-Christian Celtic people. Many Celtic rituals and ceremonies related the rose to the heart, but when Christianity was adopted by the Romans and later spread throughout the empire, pagan flower festivals and rituals were now denounced by the church and even forbidden on graveyards. And as Christianity was more and more established across Europe, one of the church's conversion strategies was to replace the deities of ancient times that had been worshipped for hundreds and hundreds of years with Christian saints. So became the ancient Celtic goddess Bridget, now Saint Bridget, and the goddess Anu, an Irish goddess, earth goddess, from whom all life emerged. This goddess now embodied the earth, the rivers and seas, offering fertility, abundance, regeneration, and nurturing. So goddess Anu, she is still here, but now she is called Saint Anne. As the people were taught to worship only one, the male, the God, the Father, and the Son, found in the Holy Trinity, the former reverence for the feminine and nature, which was so present in ancient goddess worship and also in Celtic spiritual traditions, was now largely lost. However, the longing to keep alive a connection to the divine feminine found new ways, and this desire manifested as a devotion to Mother Mary, with the rose as her symbol, as well as all the earlier mother goddesses who had a rose symbol as well. Mary became also the goddess that people could worship without a fear of persecution. Historically, the rose has been the symbol of mystery and of secrecy. When a rose garland was hung above an important meeting place, that meant that the sub rosa, which is meaning under the rose, it was to be kept secret and not be repeated at other places. While the rose has medicinal properties and is used in food and for healing purposes, such as in teas, in oils, and creams, such as skincare, perhaps the main purpose of the rose is to evoke our sense of awe. The rose awakens our soul, hearing the invitation to be fully present. The scent and the symmetry of the rose takes our breath away, and some of us experience a moment of transcendence and immanence at the very same time. And some see the rose cross as a symbol of this. Heaven and earth with the rose at the intersection point on the cross. The Bible story of the Garden Eden features apples, which, like roses, are a member of the plant family Rosaceae. There is an ancient story from Peru that may echo a connection to the Bible story. In the ancient story of Peru, Eve takes a rose rather than an apple. How different would the story have been about Eve and Adam? The Garden of Eden is one of humanity's most influential stories. Eve is cast out of the secret garden and transported into original sin. And maybe this story needs to be rewritten as we work with Mother Rose. The rose has not only in Christianity a special place. In Islam, the fragrance of the rose represents the sacredness of the soul, and in both Islam and Christianity, smelling the scent of roses when there is no other person around signifies the presence of the divine. And Islamic writings, they teach us of Muhammad's journey into the presence of the divine, and a drop of sweat landed on the earth, and a rose was born, and so manifested right there. The mystical Islamic movement called Sufism believed that a rose symbolizes perfection, enabling us to have a deep connection and so a union with God. The thorns of the rose represent the difficulties we face along the way for a union with the divine, and the fact that the rose continues to bloom holds the teaching of being reborn while still living. And this lesson is found in many other mystical traditions as well. In the tarot cards, the rose also finds a way of appearance. There is the Fool card. Here the white rose signifies purity. On the tarot card the Magician, the rose commonly signifies unfolding wisdom. The strength card has the rose to communicate balance, and on the death card, the rose delivers a message of clarity, of intention. Roses also are related to angels. When you smell the scent of a rose, while there are no roses around, it is a sign that an angel is nearby. And in literature, in the third part of Dante's poem, The Divine Comedy, called Paradiso, some mysteries of the rose are explored. And in the final section of this poem, a vision of a sunlit white rose, representing the mystic's attainment of a union with God. The poet's spiritual quest has been fulfilled. In mathematics, the Fibonacci series and the golden ratio on which the series is based, it is a number sequence that was discovered in 1202. And this sequence, in which each number is the sum of the preceding two numbers, can be found in all life. The petals of a rose are related to this sacred ratio, which each new set of petals growing in the spaces of the previous set. And in our times, when ancient secrets appear to be proven by science, it seems that the significance of the rose throughout history is only just beginning to unfold before us. The rose's secrets, they seem to be hidden in plain sight. Those many secrets and mysteries of the rose has been a symbol of love since ancient times. And today we are living in an era when division and polarity are at an all-time high. There is so much separation, so the rose can show us how to soften. She shows us how to strengthen through sorrows and to stay open in the midst of separation, to trust in the seasons of life and to dig our roots deep, and how to open again and again despite of diversity around us. We need the ancient heart medicine of the rose today more than ever. The rose is much more ancient than we are, has seen civilizations come and go, and knows much more than we do about living harmoniously on the planet Earth. She is both soft and hardy, strong and beautiful. May we open our hearts to her wisdom and our ears to her ancient song. We are forever connected with plants, flowers, stones, trees, and animals, and all there is or ever was. So together with the beautiful rose and her special powers, we can create a new future for humanity. So let us start today. That was about the roots of the rose, seen by the creator of the deck named Rebecca Campbell. I love to share it with you all. I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. Take care and goodbye.